Hi everybody, I'm Rachel Arazo and welcome to Crone's Magic Corner, which I know we had another name change, but I figured it would make sense considering it matches the bookstore that I have for the Crone Academy, and a lot of people were getting confused between the Crone Academy paid group and the free one, so that's why. Hi Amanda, let me pull up comments. I hope everyone is having a happy Friday. Happy Friday. Oh, yes, you made it to a live. Good Amanda. Hello. Okay. Let's see, pull up comments. Actually, real quick, I will be right back. I need something to drink. I forgot my tea. You have a job interview next week. Awesome. Congrats, Amanda. May the 4th be with you, Kimberly. Hello. I needed my tea. I hope you guys have your tea. Okay. So, a couple things changed. Again, a lot of people were getting confused between the paid group for the Crone Academy and the free one, which was this one. So I went ahead and changed the name again. And I don't think I'm going to change it after this because it actually matches the bookstore. So I will keep it this way. Let's wipe those out of the way. What else changed? Yes, today I'll be announcing a new workshop, which will have to do with what's going on today. Already, for those that don't know, there is a 500 member giveaway here in the group. So what you want to do is make sure your friends want to come and then invite them to the group. Have them message me or when they introduce themselves, mention you, and then you get credit where credit is due to qualify for the fancy things that I'll be giving away. If we do it by the workshop this month, awesome, then we'll do the giveaway after the workshop's over. But you need to like my business page, be active here in the group. I showed you guys when I announced it that I can see the top 10 people that are the most active in this group. Those top 10 people are going to be eligible for this giveaway. And I'll do random generator and go through and see who gets what. And then there was one other stipulation. You need to take the quick start challenge. I at least need to see that you are actively working on your tarot intuitive practice or even your psychic practice, like we'll talk about today, because all the prizes are going to be geared towards that, and they're going to help enhance you, and I don't want to give you something that you aren't going to use, you know? So make sure that you're using it. Does that make sense? Everybody clear for that? I'll wait for the video to catch up. Catching up. Let me know if you have questions about it. But today, as you guys have noticed, I've been showing a lot of psychic related questions here in the group. For a good reason, because part of the Crone Academy this year in March. It's already May and but I launched the second course that's within the Academy, which is the Crown Activate Psychic and Magic Development for Diviners course. And it's huge. It literally takes you through beginning your psychic and your magic practice and moving you all the way up to creating covens, meeting with spirit guides, going over deities, everything like that. So, for good reason, I want you guys to go into this because I also realized a lot of you have stipulations with being called a psychic. And there's a reason for that. Amanda, is the quick start the 5-day one I did? Possibly. If you interviewed your tarot deck, yes, I was talking to you about this, yes. The Quick Start Challenge takes you through interviewing your tarot deck, creating really easy spreads, learning how to word questions, activating your intuition in easy everyday ways, and driving away self-doubt. That gets you a really good introduction to the tarot course that's in the Academy. Much fun so far, if anyone wonders about. Yes! Yeah, those of you in the Academy, a lot of them have gone through the tarot course, or they're just using it as a refresher, and now they're actively in the psychic one. There's so much stuff in there, and there's a lot of exercises. But it makes it... Hi, Celine! It makes it super... it's relevant, because if you think of being a tarot reader, a lot of people's introduction to even the word psychic usually deals with scammers. That's why this week I asked you the scammer question, like, have you ever dealt with a psychic scammer? And it's funny. Well, not funny for her, but it was interesting. I had a client that asked me for a reading, made it fit her budget, that's fine, and went ahead and went forward with everything. I'm incredibly nice in the sense of I let you message me whenever afterwards, and if it doesn't require me pulling out cards, I will talk to you about it. And the next step for her is I have a premium love package that offers a custom bath spell, and I make you a meditation, and I do a palm and tarot reading for you. And that's one of the things that I do. And I actually really enjoy it. I offered that to her. She didn't want to take it. Fine, whatever, no skin off my nose. But then she went and found another person on Instagram, and this person told her, because she's wanting to bring a certain person into her life, that she would do a spell for her to bring them together and bind them together. And it's 100% guaranteed that it would work. She messaged me and asked me what I thought, thinking I was going to be jealous. And I told her, honestly, I could give a rat's ass. If you want to go to somewhere else, I don't really care. I recommend 2 weeks in between each reading, whether you go to me or someone else, but that allows time to breathe. Personally, to me, I don't like the sound of this because she's saying 100% guarantee, and even on my best day, I will be 90% accurate. So, or sometimes a little more than that, but you know what I mean. Like, we're humans, there's room for error. I don't like that she's guaranteeing you, and she said 100% guarantee or your money back. She's trying to get her in like that, and I was like, I don't like that. Because that's why I don't offer for readings. Me personally, it'll depend on you if you decide to do this as a business, or if you are doing this as a business. I don't offer refunds, because that's my time and my energy I'm not getting back. Now, if there's, of course, exceptions, like if you end up in the hospital and you miss your appointment, that's different, okay? But on the general sense, no. I'd rather you cuss and scream and yell at me and get it all out of your system. You can't give me back my time or give me back the product. It's already done. She was like, I'm glad that you were upfront with me about it, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. I was like, fine, whatever, peace. I don't really care. She comes back next day, says she gave this woman a bunch of money to do it, and during the process she says that the person she's trying to do the spell for has a spiritual cancer in their liver, and that if she does not pay her $10,000 right now, it's going to spread across his body and kill him. Half of my brain is like, wow, that was the wrong thing to say. Then the other half of me is like, because I'm messed up like that. I'm mean. Especially when I told you so. So, she tells me, and I told her, like, yeah, she's breathing smoke out her ass. It's not true. She gets mad at the woman, and then she tells her that now, because she said no, there is an incubus attached to her and her daughter. This woman has a daughter, like, under 11 years old. And instantly the mama bear in me is like, ooh, you fucked up. You don't say that mess to a mother. Don't say that crap. And I told her, you are fine. You and your kid are fine. This woman is blowing smoke out her ass because she knows that she's losing you. And she's trying to fearmonger you into coming back. That's why. So she was upset. I didn't have to do any of this. I could have sat here and said, well, tough shit. But I went and I looked up Square and the app that it was going through for them. And I told her like straight up, this is why I don't work with Square. Not because of scammers and stuff, but because Square doesn't allow spells and readings and work with psychics or anything like that. I looked it up when I first got my business together. That's why I never got them. Okay? They don't allow it. So I know this woman is telling you bullshit and she's gonna get in trouble. So I helped her set that up. I don't know if she got the money back. I never asked. But she was like, she was so traumatized after the fact, and now she comes to me every couple days to make sure everything's okay. And it's like, yeah, everything's good. But the thing is, we have these things with psychic scammers, and it can be scary for new tarot readers because they're like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that person that fearmongers people into buying things from me. I don't want to end up in the newspaper on the news saying I scammed somebody out of $500 million and they were stupid enough to give it to me, but also now I'm going to prison. I totally get it. And there's ways that you cannot do that, because I know every person in here, you're not going to do that mess. Because when you come in, I filter you and I make sure that you are heart-centered and don't have that kind of intention. And as soon as I see it, I nip it in the bud. I'm done. But I'm going to ease your fears with that, because just because you claim the name of psychic does not mean that you scam people. I promise you. Let's see. Everybody's like, oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. The 1-800-PSYCHIC, yeah, that too. Well, no, depends. Psychic readings are different because I work on the hotlines too. So it depends on who you're talking to, okay? Ooh, one of those, yeah. Free will is a thing. Yes, free will is a thing, and I will mention that. I will mention that. It's like when you go get your oil change and they tell you all this stuff needs replacing. Yes, there was actually a TV show about that where they purposely had elderly. They had one elderly woman, and she kept having people come in to fix her fridge and look at it. And there was nothing wrong with the fridge. They bought a brand new fridge, and they wanted to see who was honest with her. And out of like 20 mechanics that came in of all these different companies that were telling her, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, one person was like, what are you talking about? The fridge is working fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't know what you're hearing because I don't see nothing. You know, one person out of that group of people. It's ridiculous. It's very wrong. You're right, Amanda. I'll check in with my trusted advisor and see this and see what they recommend. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, you don't touch the young ones. Yeah, never touch the young ones. That was stupid on her part. Malay says, I knew a guy who went to a psychic to remove a curse for $2,000. Yeah. And he didn't have the money, so she said he'd end up in the hospital in 3 months if he didn't remove it. Scammers! Hi, Caitlin! We're talking about psychic scammers. Yeah. It's some crazy mess. And I noticed that trend this week when I specifically asked about scammers, that everybody was afraid of that happening. And first of all, I specifically made an article on how to prevent this for clients that I sent to her afterwards because I wasn't thinking about it beforehand. I didn't realize that she would be that silly. But the reason why this happens to clients is because we deal with people in their most desperate state. Okay? That's why tarot reading, psychics, everything like that is the most stressful customer service job you could frickin' have. Because we deal with people in their rawest form. I have worked retail, I've worked cashier and in the clothing section, the fitting room at Walmart. I've done credit cards for Barnes & Noble, Williams-Sonoma, Visa Black, all of them over the phone. I've worked for Verizon. I've worked at McDonald's, and I was badass at working McDonald's. Everybody loved me. I've cleaned hotel rooms for the Holiday Inn, and that was a job. Oh my god. I've dealt with everything. I've also done catering and dealing with people with their food, and no one gets to see the nitty-gritty of humanity like a psychic does, or like a tarot reader does, or a rune reader, or a palm reader. People within the spiritual field. Because a lot of times they don't take our jobs seriously. If you choose to make this a business, even if you do this for friends, for free, or for practice, they don't take you seriously. And yet they expose everything of their lives. And I often have to turn people away like, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a medical professional. You need to go see someone else about that. Don't use me as your replacement, because that's when it gets icky. Okay? So we deal with the nitty-gritty. And people in those kinds of states are incredibly vulnerable and easy to suggestion. Think of the Eight of Swords, but it's like 30 swords popping at you, and you're explaining all of this to a psychic, and you're like, please come help me, pull me out of the swords. Some people will take advantage of that. Okay? And that does not mean you will. Okay? That's when you need to be honest with yourself and what you will and will not do. I don't like doing pregnancy readings because I understand the reason why people want it, because I've been in that state by myself, and I have done readings for myself on that, where it's the middle of the night. I've been told, wait until the morning for a test. Don't do it at night because, you know, stronger chemicals in the pee and all that kind of stuff. So I'm waiting, but I want to know now. So that's why the pregnancy questions happen. Okay? Or it's before the 4 months mark and you haven't been able to go to the doctor to see the sex of your child yet. That's why. I understand those. I totally get those. I don't like doing them though. Because all I need to do is flip a coin on yes or no. Tarot is not the best tool for that. Lenormand is better. Lenormand's better, because Lenormand is ridiculously accurate, but it's on a different system than Tarot is. So, I can understand the pregnancy questions, but I don't like doing them. Anything that has to do with death and suicide, I'm not prophesying death. I'm not. If you even mention suicidal tendencies, that's when I'm like, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. Because I don't want you blaming me for something that I see. Okay? And I'm learning, I had to learn my boundaries. I don't like that stuff. Okay? Because I'm not going to be left up in the middle of the night worrying about you when you only talked to me for 5 minutes and you were blasé about it, but I'm like, was I right? I don't want to tell this person the wrong thing. I'm not stressing myself out with that mess, okay? I'm not doing lotto numbers. The lottery, it was stupid. Okay, I graduated from college last year. Almost half of the semester was dealt with chance, and how many times we calculated the frickin' lottery was ridiculous. I hated it. It was annoying, and I'm not doing lottery numbers. There's too much into it. Now, I did find it fun to do the Super Bowl. I noticed everybody was pulling cards for the Super Bowl in a couple of groups, and I was like, fuck it, why don't, I'll try it. And I was right. Cool. I was right. Should have bet money on it. But I'm not going to gamble, and I'm not going to help other people gamble their life away. Okay? I'm not going to be that crutch for someone. And the really big reason why these are no-nos for me is because people latch on to somebody like a crutch. And the last thing you want, whether you're doing this for free or for your business, is someone to use you as a crutch. That's why when I talk about wording questions, should I do this? Should I do that? Cut that out of your vocabulary, because you're not taking personal responsibility for your own stuff. You know? Does that make sense? Do a pendulum for pregnancy. Yes, pendulums have been known for pregnancy. That's what I do. I've done that too. You can find your lottery numbers on a fortune cookie. Yes. Anna says, ethics is one of the first things my tarot reader teacher taught us. You don't tell death, deal with medical issues and such. It is mainly to protect you. Okay, some people want to do that. Some people are really good at doing that. If that's your niche, go for it. There's a lot of people who want you. But me personally, I don't touch it. Kimberly says, even as an emerging therapist, I wouldn't mix the two. Yeah, I'll read for tarot for you or do therapy, not both. Yeah. Even though there is money for you if you do both. But I understand your reasoning. It's two completely different worlds, and one requires a degree, one does not. Yeah. Lisa says, if I could pick winning lottery numbers, do you think I'd be reading cards for people? I know, right? The probability is just way too slim. I don't touch it. So, that's why there are those scandalous people out there. They give a really general reading, tell you you should never read cards, otherwise you'll know that they're wrong, and then tell you you have an incubus attached to you, which, that irritated me. That irritated me so much, because that was one of the first things that popped in my head, is like, I'm a big mythology buff, and I'll actually talk a little bit, there's a mythology thing coming up too, and I'm like, this woman doesn't know what the fucking incubus is. It irritated me on so many levels. It's, ooh, you get the lore wrong. And that's why I have a module for that in the academy. I teach you what the hell it is, because that way you know. But it's like, to a person that knows this, you can clearly see the mistakes. To someone who doesn't and doesn't spend their every day in this, they don't, so they get easily sucked in. So, the biggest thing, if you don't want to come off as a scammer, know your boundaries, okay? Know your ethics. What will you do and what will you not do? And if you decide to start doing that for money, put it somewhere. Put it on your Facebook page, put it on a landing page if you don't have a website yet, and if you do have a website, put on your privacy policy and on your terms and conditions. On every page of my website, you can click a little button down at the bottom. There's a picture for privacy policy, there's a picture for terms and conditions, and then there's one more. There's one more. I cover my ass. All you do is click the picture and it'll take you right to it, and you can read through all of it, and I will tell you what I will and will not do. Okay? Yeah, what you won't do. And a big part of it is figuring out, what are you okay with? Do you follow the Wiccan read? Do you do that do not harm none? That'll tell you that you won't do any readings about how can I make him come back to me? Or any binding spells. That'll tell you anything. I won't do readings where you want to harm someone else or commit a crime. I wrote that down. I'm not touching that with an 8-foot pole. Let me actually pull up all the things I won't do. Because I have it listed. I think it's in my FAQs on my website. Because when it comes to that, it's just bad. You don't want to do that mess. Let's see. Code of Ethics and FAQs. That was the other one. I have my Code of Ethics. Okay. I will not give medical or legal advice. I'm not responsible for you going on a losing streak in Vegas because my cards say you're likely to be financially prosperous. I'm not going to confirm if your uncle's going to die this weekend. I'm not going to tell you to rob or stab somebody. If you need financial, medical, or legal help, go see a professional who specializes in those areas. Literally what's on my website. I'm not doing it. And I give no bias. I don't care who you are. That's why, for me, even though me personally, I'm not good with cheaters. I've been cheated on. But if you have the number of women that have come to me, and men, where they are the third party in a relationship, and they're waiting for the person to come and say, I'm no longer with my husband or my wife, and now we can be together. The number of people I get like that are ridiculous, okay? I also get a lot of people that are the cheater, And they're trying to balance the two people, and they don't want to lose either one. Do I agree morally with you? No, I don't. I don't, and I would not be happy with you if you were my friend in real life. But I'll give a reading to you. I don't care. What you do with your life, that's your business. You just ask me, are things gonna go well? Sure, I'll pull a card for that, and I see obviously no. You know? It depends on what you want to do, okay? So, sit down and write a list of things that if you are a reader, what are you worried about? Okay? That'll tell you what you want to do if you decide to do this as a business or even for readings for other people. Now, you can run into some problems, like let's say you hate love relationship readings. Funny thing is, every 9 out of 10 people you talk to are gonna ask about their love life, because that's one that they only think that tarot readers and psychics are for, but also because that is what is on their mind. That's what they want, you know. So keep that in mind. You might not like it, fine, then say straight up, I will not do this. So if you ask me, I won't do it. You won't get as much revenue, but yeah. No third-party readings, no mental health questions. Yes. Kimberly says, I get on the fence about spying questions. What does so-and-so feel about the situation? That too. Sometimes very helpful, other times wishful magical thinking. It's okay, Caitlin. We'll see you later. I'll harm none until you touch my girl the wrong way. Exactly. Do not harm, but take no shit. And it says, most serious people teaching about how to put up your business, reading tarot, and other things in a way tell you put up your ethics. Exactly. Which, if you guys actually are interested in starting a business, go see Christina Quick. She's here in the group. If you have a business tarot question, ask her. And I'm going to talk to you about something that I'm doing with her very special next month. At the end of this. So, what I mean when I'm saying you're psychic, okay, is you are accessing all of your senses, but in a way that you're receiving outside information, supernatural information, meaning it's not a part of the mundane and norm. It's not something tangible, okay? And there are different types of specialties for this, just like there's different types of modalities. Some people, their first introduction into tarot reading, into the psychic world, is through tarot reading, or through whatever divination that they choose to be, because they're realizing, this is a satellite, by the way, I'm picking up on something and I don't understand, you know? So, sometimes that happens, and that's totally okay. And at first it's a little freaky. First, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, you don't know what you're saying. That's why I'm giving you the intuitive exercises in the group every once in a while. That's why I'm asking you these questions, because it helps hone it and helps you not freak out as much when you start picking up on stuff. Because I promise you're not crazy. That's another thing. People believe that if they're psychic and other people find out, they'll end up in the nut house. Coming from somebody who has literally been there, you're not crazy. It's really just trying to figure out what you have and then learning how to work with it, okay? This is why, I think yesterday, someone was talking about automatic writing and drawing with their tarot readings. I was like, ooh, the number of people in this group that would probably be interested in this. I'm going to ask you questions, okay? How did the process go? How did you start the exercise? How did you feel about it? Let's get it all tweaked out. Okay, and let's talk about it a little bit, because I've done automatic writing. I did that as a part of a 30-day witchcraft challenge on my old website. I need to finish moving all that over. And it was super fun. I really liked it. So it's just a matter of what you actually want to do and how to actually figure that out. So let's see. Relationship questions are not a favorite. Too many variables. Yeah. That too. I have a quick question about the daily draw. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, you have to go. That's okay. Go ahead, Amanda. Afterwards, feel free to still type your question and I'll answer it, and then feel free to come back and watch the rest of it. Lisa says, like, blurting out completely random information without a filter. Yeah, before you know that you're psychic. Yeah. Yeah. We all have our psychic story. And how we officially started. I was a psychic before I was a tarot reader, and I didn't know what I was. Because I grew up a Jehovah's Witness, as you guys know, I've told you before. And how it works for being a Jehovah's Witness, at least 3 days out of the week, we go to a meeting. They don't call them mass, they call it meetings. You literally dress up like you're going to work, and that's what you go to. We all sit in a hall. There's no Jesus figures, there's none of that because I don't believe in idols. And they sit there and they watch the different brothers talk and the elders talk. The women sometimes have a part, they do mock stuff, like when we go door to door, here's a mock situation about the stuff that we learned this week. Okay. I would get so bored. I'd get in trouble for falling asleep. And it was funny, one time I was like 12. My great-grandmother, when she was still alive, came back from Jamaica with some rum cake. I didn't know what it was. I just knew it was chocolate cake. And I cut half of it, and I hid it in a napkin, and I was eating it on the way to the meeting, and I was singing. That was my first time ever being drunk, and I didn't even realize I was drunk. I was just eating rum cake. This is the shit that I did in the meeting, or I'd sit there. I got really good at texting with one of the clickable phones where you have to click the number a certain amount of times. I got real good at doing that and texting my boyfriend or my friends while I was in the middle of the meeting and not looking at the screen. I got real good at that. But I also realized sometimes I'd be so bored, I wasn't sleeping, I was scrying the carpet. Which normally when you think of scrying, you think of a crystal ball. But you can scry on pretty much anything. And I was looking at the carpet because the carpet was this hideous 70s like multicolored carpet. And I would scry on the carpet. Or I'd be staring at the wall. Like this wall has it, how it's bumpy on the wall and there's all kinds of different shapes and stuff. I'd be staring at the wall and scrying. And I'm seeing faces, I'm seeing eyeballs, I'm seeing animals, I'm seeing colors, and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, I feel like I'm just imagining shit right now, but whatever, I'm gonna do that. And that's what I did. I scried. Because I didn't know what it meant to be psychic. I wasn't allowed to watch Raven-Symoné on Disney Channel. I wasn't allowed to watch Scooby-Doo, even though it was all fake. I wasn't allowed to watch Scooby-Doo. Nothing having to do with anything like that. And then when I got to college, you know, thank you, Izzy, even though you're not dead and I'm looking up, you're like over in Portland somewhere. Thank you, Izzy, for tossing your Enchanted World Tarot at me. That's how I got started on tarot, but I was doing psychic stuff beforehand, and it helps explain a lot. Like, I have really violent imagery in my head sometimes. And I get every path that it could conceivably be that's really violent, but not the actual path that happens. Which makes predicting death for me really easy, and it's happened before. That's why I don't like doing it. Because I could see literally every way that this could end, and it's probably not going to end any of those ways. Because I'm going to tell you about it, and you're going to avoid it. I found out about the clairs, which we're going to go over. I'm clairaudient, clairvoyant, and claircognizant. Sometimes clairsentient, which equals in English, pretty much when I receive information, it's visual first. And then the more I know about a person or the more I work with them, I get sound. Think of a silent movie, a silent black and white movie, then I get sound. And then I get color. And then it'll keep going from there and I'll be able to feel it and put myself in that situation. So it really depends. But that's because I've been working on it. I'm actively working on it. I'm in a psychic circle right now and we practice it every month. All the different things. We just did auras this month. So, but the whole thing is to not make yourself feel like a scammer and learn to make yourself not feel fake. You're valid. You're not crazy, I promise. You're going through this stuff, and that's why usually when we do tarot readings, we sit down and we ask, how's my day gonna go? What should I do for this situation? Now I'm at that point where I will get in a mood and pull out my journal and my cards, whichever deck that I want, and I will have a long conversation writing and talking with the cards and going back and forth, and I'll get in depth with it. And that's just how I am. Because I'll get the visions and be like, okay, cards, what the hell was that about? Okay? And you can use them in all kinds of ways. You can use them to talk to your spirit guides. You can use them to talk to your higher self. That's pretty much what I do. You can use them for spell work. You can use them for predictive things just for fun. One really fun trick that I saw someone doing was they would watch a movie and pull a card for what that character is. Or pull 3 cards. What's the character at the beginning of the movie, the middle of the movie, and the end of the movie? And then they pretty much have the movie right there. Oh, that's all they're doing. And it's super cool because it teaches you not only how to use your intuition in other ways, but also how to use your cards for predictive purposes. You know? Does that make sense? I've been talking for a bit. Kimberly says, coming from someone who's worked with folks who see and hear things, mental health professionals know the difference between spiritual practice and actual crazy. Yes, there is a difference. There's a difference between schizophrenia, which is absolutely fascinating. I've always been fascinated with that. And hearing things. There's a difference. Okay? Lol. Lisa, conversations with myself. I know. Yeah. So, what I'm doing is I've created a workshop that we're going to do at the end of this month. Actually, not at the end of the month, on the 18th, so in 2 weeks. That'll be pulling up calendar. Ooh, it worked. I must be magical. Literally in 2 weeks. It'll be at 11 a.m. It'll be here in the Facebook group, and it is called the Clairs and Wares Discover Your Psychic Ability and Psychic Modality Workshop. I'm going to give you a really nice introduction to the different clairs. I might create a quiz so you guys can actually do it. And then what modality works for you. It might be tarot reading, or it might be something else that also messes with you. Because combining modalities is super fun. And that's how you work. I combine palmistry and tarot and oracle and pendulums all over the time. So that's what we're doing. Here's the sign up. You guys, some of you have already signed up. You are magical. Oh, thank you. Thank you. There we go. It's pinned right there. And the thing, what happens with workshops in this group, unlike the challenges, how they're up for forever, the workshops are available for that weekend. So the day we do it, Saturday and Sunday. And then if you don't sign up to this list that I just posted, it's gone. Because if you sign up to the list, even if you can't be there, you'll get the replay and you'll get the workbook. Okay? If you don't get it. You don't get a link to the workbook. After that, it goes into the Crown Academy vault, because this is based off of the first module in the psychic course. It'll go up on Thinkific, and then you got to pay for it separately or join the academy. So make sure you sign up, even if you're not coming. Make sure you sign up so you have it for later. Otherwise, it'll be bye-bye for you. Sunday, I'm deleting it. Okay? And the replay will not be accessible to you on YouTube unless you have the special link. So, make sure you sign up. Something else I was going to mention. Let me get the exact name. Waiting for pages to load. Because we have another event, and it's not this month, it's the following month. Which, by the way, if part of, if you want to join the academy, you get all of the workshops. So you see all the things in the units, like the shadow work workshop and the costume your cards workshop, all of those, you get those too, along with everything else. So let me see, where is it? Where is it? I'm trying to remember. Summer. Last year, for those of you that have been in this group for frickin' ever with me, You'll remember I did a 12 days of Christmas event with a few ladies that I am in the Make Tarot Your Business masterclass with. And it was really fun. I did using bath magic to improve your spiritual practice. You got a tarot spread. You got a little bath spell from me that I used during pregnancy. It was super fun. Now, what we're doing is we're doing a biannual event like that. This year we're doing the summer, Immerse Yourself in the Summer of Magic event. It's a 5-day video summit. Not in this group. It's in the Heart Center Biz Support group. And what I'll be doing, it's also a Crone Academy exclusive thing, is how to meet and effectively work with your elemental spirit guide. So you guys know how I talk about the first time I met my spirit guide, how she's a mermaid and I was in the middle of a show and she was swimming up on the Valance in the middle of intermission. I'm going to teach you which spirit guide that's elemental like that will be going with you. The entire event is fantasy themed, so I'll be talking about centaurs, fire lizards, mermaids, and fae. A lot of people will be talking about fairies. Someone's talking about dragons. We'll be talking about all kinds of stuff. And it's all fantasy themed. So you don't have to wait till Christmas to have a summit with me again. And not only that, but discover some other really powerful witches and tarot readers. Susie will be there. Lisa might be there. I think you're going, Lisa? Summer of Magic with Christina Quick. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Lisa, I fixed that actually on MailChimp. MailChimp just didn't, it didn't do it. Yep, Lisa's doing dragons. So, join us. It'll be super fun. I'm not going to give the sign up yet because we're still magically working in the background with all our little elves and it's going to get all done. Our summer elves, not our Christmas elves. And it's going to be super fun. So I hope I see you guys there too. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about it. That one goes June 11th through the 15th. And I will put up a thing here in the group. I believe I picked the 15th, Friday morning. So that day we won't be having a live here in the group because I'll be doing a live over there instead. So I will give you more details as it gets closer. If you have any questions, Lisa tagged Christina Quick. Talk to her. It's her group that we're going to, and it's the Heart-Centered Spiritual Business Support Group for both men and women now. Well, women and men now. We're just now letting men in. So, does anybody have questions about psychic abilities and not feeling like a scammer? Because I know I threw a lot of stories and info at you today. And you know that this is why I like to talk about these kinds of things, because people get really, really scared when you mention the word psychic. It's almost like a little curse word, but it's not. All of you in here have the capacity to be psychic because it's really just activating another part of your brain. And you, just like you all had the capacity for being intuitive tarot readers. Your intuition, it's just your psychic ability, just so it goes in different ways and it talks to you in different ways. So really keep that in mind. And I really love that everybody's asking questions. Everybody is talking to each other. I saw Kovar went live yesterday. Super happy to see your face, even if you got shy at the end. If you guys want to practice with this stuff, even if it's not with your tarot cards, if you want to practice aura reading or scrying like I did, or using your pendulum, feel free to start a live. Just let people know when you're going live so you actually have an audience. And let me know if you have questions. I'm easily accessible. Next week, I will, on Thursday, not be answering anything. I will try to be here Friday. I might record ahead of time because Thursday's my birthday. So I am going to force myself to take a day off because I never take a day off. Malay, how do you see auras? Is there an exercise to do that? Oh, I don't have one yet that's available for free for you guys. That's an Academy thing. For auras, though, a really, really easy way to get started with that is to look up first of all, look at photos that are on a white background, okay? And there's those magic eye trick pictures that you can look at, how when you look at it in a certain way or have your eyes squinted enough, you can see an image pop out of it. That's one easy way to get started because it helps train your eye to get into that stance. Aura reading really takes a lot of trust on yourself. Same thing with remote viewing, same thing with astral projection, things like that. You need to trust that you're not crazy, okay? And that you're actually experiencing it. You can get started in any way. My first introduction to aura reading actually was the UK version of Being Human, the TV show. It might still be on Netflix because the ghost that's on there, she learned how to read auras in one of the episodes. I think it was like season 2 or 3. And it was actually really fun. I'll hunt down some easy tutorials for you. I'll go on Tumblr and on Google and look up some easy stuff, and I will tag you in it, Malay. Let's see. As a secular practitioner, can you explain how that might work? You mean for being psychic, Leticia? Which, for those that don't know secular, that is being a spiritual practitioner or energy worker or witch versus being non-spiritual and not belonging to a certain faith. Okay, so I'm non-secular. Because I'm a combination of Buddhist and Taoist and a little bit of pagan and just spiritual. But I don't belong to a specific group or faith, so that's what that means. Love the show. Yay! Lisa says for auras, the hardest part is learning how to relax your vision and try not to focus. Yeah, that was my problem. I had to literally take off my glasses because I'm almost blind in this eye. And I had to get super close to it and move myself back and forth and almost cross my eyes. It was a process for me because I was having such a hard time. I was scrying more than I was reading auras. But it took like 6 tries and it was like, holy shit, I can do it! Oh my god, that's so cool! Okay. It was cool though. It took some practice. Yes, okay. So, how I see this for if you're a secular practitioner and you're psychic. Really, there's a little bit of magic and witchcraft and the supernatural and the psychic studies in almost every secular religion. Okay? We light our candles, we pray to a certain deity, whether it be Jesus or Allah or whoever you want to work with. And it really is just more figuring out what it means for you. Because there's a little bit of it in every single practice. So if, let's say you're Christian and you're psychic, you could see that as receiving angel guidance, like divine guidance from angels. That's why there are specifically angel readers. They talk specifically and work specifically with angels. You could be talking directly to whatever deity you like to worship. So I got a wonderful Ganesh pendant that's hanging over there right now this weekend. So let's say I wanted to work on removing my boundaries and my obstacles, because Ganesh, not Ganesha, it's Hindu, you don't pronounce the A. The elephant god. Let's say I wanted to work on removing obstacles with him. I could ask him for a visual sign or an auditory sign to let me know when my obstacles have been removed. And then I would go about my day, kind of like with the third eye exercise, and I would write down things that I notice. Or if my brain zoinks out for a second. Meditation and prayer are known across all different religions. And even if you're non-secular, I really recommend both. Even if you're just saying something nice to yourself or to someone who's passed or something like that. it really does help because that opens up your abilities more. Every time you open up to your intuitive abilities, you're opening up your psychic ones, because all it is just an enhanced version of your intuition talking. Your psychic abilities also determine in the way that your intuition talks to you. So one easy way to look at it also, I'm very visual. Ever since I was little, I would sit in my room, blast music, and I could literally see myself on a stage with backup dancers, and I was singing because I wanted to be a singer. I could see the clothes and dancing with a partner, and my intuition talks to me visually like that. Okay? Anytime, the first time I met the goddess Lakshmi, I have her right here. Let me take you off. Right there. Her right there. Anytime, the very first time I actually talked to her, I was meditating and I felt my body start to move. I'm used to my spirit guide doing that. When I start to involuntarily move, I just let it happen. I started looking up at the ceiling and I saw this owl come out of the ceiling. Psychic vision. That was clairvoyance for me. I was receiving a vision and I looked it up because I felt it had a Hindu flair to it, and that's one of her animals. And that was the one that kept popping out for me. So I'm like, okay, she's trying to talk to me. Cool. Awesome. And I think I pulled the Queen of Air from the Dreams of Gaia deck like for 3 weeks straight because she kept trying to talk to me. So things like that. If you have a specific path and you are talking to that deity or whoever you're praying or meditating with, how does the information come to you? It's coming through your psychic abilities. Everybody has them, just it's a matter of believing that you do. That's the difference between doing any type of psychic test. You'll see in all the studies, there's a difference between the people who don't believe that they are and when they do the test, and there's a difference between the people that do believe that they're psychic and when they do the test. The success rate is higher because that belief needs to be there. It's the same thing with magic. Belief has to be there. You know, faith, trust, and pixie dust, you know? And it's a literal kind of thing. Does that help, Leticia? Because even depending on what you actually are, that'll determine just how the information comes into your mind. A really easy way to figure this out is what method was easiest for you in school to learn. Are you a visual learner? Do you need someone in front of you? I needed that. I can't do online school. It's so hard for me because I need the teacher in front of me and actually conversing with me. I can listen to audiobooks and I can listen to podcasts because clairaudience is one of my things. I'm okay with hearing. I have really ridiculously good hearing. Hi, Krista. So it really, really depends on what works for you. Because do you feel like it's a little harder for you to believe that you're psychic because of your secular path, Leticia? I'll give it a second. I can see myself talking. It's getting there. Because sometimes there are beliefs that will keep us from unlocking that side. And I'll talk about that too. Sometimes if we have self-deprecating beliefs, or if we have beliefs within our own religious system, or traumatic experiences, it can make it harder. But that doesn't mean you can't break through it if you choose to. That's why the way that I set it up was the Crown course covers all the ones, all the divination ones, because the rest of the academy now, all those courses are going to be divination based, and the Crown helps you tie everything together and helps you pick which one you want to go to. Hey. My strongest clairs are clairsentience and clairvoyance. Awesome. I'm a very visual person, so it comes with the artistic territory. Leticia says, I think I'm auditory and tactile learner. That's okay. That's really good. So you're touching. Sometimes, which means that when you walk into a room, you can sense the vibe. Really, really easy. If you were to pick up an object from a loved one who'd passed, you could pick up information about them. And you can hear. That's good. That's totally fine. And the fun thing about that, everybody has a major one. But you'll strengthen the others as you practice more and more. It's a muscle. You're intuitive. It's literally a section of your brain. And the more you add little wrinkles of things that you know, and the more you practice, the better it'll get. Just like when you practice an instrument, the more you do it and do it and do it, the better your hands are for muscle memory, and it's the better for your brain because you're actively using it. So definitely, anytime you have questions, let me know. This workshop should really give you the one-on-one that you need, because this literally goes over the very, very first module in the Crown course. Leticia says, yes, definitely having secular, not worshiping any deities, Christians or otherwise. Yeah. It's been hard to break through and believe in a real person or being. I totally get that. I feel a part of myself that wants to believe in a higher divine source, but there's also this wall I can't break through to have my self-belief. That's very true. I get that, because I told you guys last week it was hard believing anything was there when I was screaming for somebody to come help with my mom. It was hard to believe any of that when I was laying next to a person that was toxic and just used my body for whatever the hell they wanted. It was hard. But that says something about what I need. Okay, do I need a literal physical thing to be looking at? Sometimes, yeah. That's why I have my printed out pictures of my gods and goddesses. You can see Cernunnos chilling right there. And that's why I'm so glad I got the Ganesh now, because I can actually talk to him and I have a visual of him. Sometimes I need that. Sometimes I need to... It was funny. I was trying to believe that my cards were accurate. I was trying to believe I was psychic. And it took literally my pendulum swinging. When I got my first pendulum, I actually have it over there. Hang on. I got it as a gift. Oh no! I got it as a gift for doing a review. And it literally took me moving it for the first time to believe that anything was happening. Because besides that, I didn't know. Because, for example, keep it steady, stop. Move in the yes position. It doesn't want to right now. Stop. Move in a clockwise circle. Nice and big for me. It took me doing that to believe that I was doing anything. And I was powerful enough to do anything. You can stop now. So, it took that visual aid. That's why when I first started clearing my chakras and really getting into chakra work, I used my pendulum. The first time I really did a spell, literally the first time I did one, I was tired of... We'd been trying to have a baby over and over and over again. And I didn't believe in anybody. The reason I picked Modron was because I was doing... Before my husband came down to come live with me, I was doing a college production of Sleeping Beauty, but the version they did had Branwen and Modron. in it instead of the 3 fairies, versus Maleficent. This is dying. So, when... Charger. Hang on. Is this charging? Yes, it's charging. So, what I did... I was cast as Modron. There we go. There's my train of thought. I was cast as her, and I really, really connected with her. I felt her hurt. And I did a little research on her and realized she was an actual goddess, and she had lost her kid. And that whole time, me and my husband were trying to have a baby. And it was weird. I didn't throw up my entire pregnancy, except for when I had a Mountain Dew. And it was right at the beginning, and I didn't know if I had a baby or not. We were gonna go get me a test. And I sat down with an unlit candle, and I pretty much begged. Said, I don't know if you're there. I don't know if I'm just talking to myself, but I can't end up going to the hospital again. I can't... Because my period would be late, and then it would hit me so hard, I would literally go to the ER. And it happened a good 8 months in a row. It wasn't a miscarriage. It was just always late. And I sat there and I begged to her, please, just let me have this. Let me have it. And I pretty much gave up after that, because that day the test was negative. And the next month we were getting married on Yule. And the week before, I was exactly a week late on my period, and I'm like, it's gonna hit me hard. I'm done, but fine, we'll go get a test. And yeah, I was. And it worked. She's my magical baby. She's very much an empath. She's already having psychic conversations with herself. It's ridiculous. And it happened. That cemented my belief too. Sometimes we need those little moments, you know? And I know this is a little boring for some people, but at the same time, we all have kind of that path of it takes some things to make it happen. Sometimes we're at our most vulnerable and we're sitting there clutching a candle and talking to ourselves in a really dark room very quickly before anybody else comes in, and just tears streaming down your face. Sometimes it happens. Or sometimes you have a wonderful dream and there they are. Because after that I had a dream about Hecate and Nox and Modron's always been with me. So it really depends. I feel like this workshop is going to help you really get started in shedding some of those beliefs that are making it hard for you. Because that's my whole goal. It's trying to figure out how to help you trust yourself so you don't have to go through all the hurdles and bounds like I had to. All the things that I've done and I've practiced, and I'm still continuing to work on myself and still continue to work with them. I'm trying to make it easier for you. So I feel like this workshop's really going to help you, Leticia. Let's see. I missed comment. Krista said, that's a great ability. I can pick up energy patterns too. It took a little while, but yeah, the more you use it, the better. Yeah. Celine said, I'm glad. Leticia said, but having been a secular Buddhist, I've held this belief that all people are divine, that we're somehow gods ourselves. That does make sense, and that's pretty much what his teachings were. I love Siddhartha Gautama. I adore Buddhism. It makes me so happy. Even when we first started learning about it in school, when I was like in 4th grade, I was like, this guy makes sense. I really like it. Fucking cars. Krista says, I believe in energy, like archetypes. I think people put into a certain image or archetype gives it power. Very true. With that, I can draw off energetic vibration depending on what it is, and I incorporate it into myself or my practice. That's how I view it anyhow. Yeah, that's very true. I've thought of that idea of perhaps what if a god is just a thought form that a group of people just believe in. I'm almost done. Sorry. It's baby's nap time. So if you guys have more questions about either of the workshops next month or right now, leave a comment below, let me know. I pinned the post for you guys to sign up for the Claire's and Wares workshop. I'm sorry for the typos, MailChimp won't change it. I went in there and I fixed it and it's not doing it. So I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. I love you all. Bye.